You know something? LGBTQ characters in film, even though they are uh, being the norm, or they are, slowly being the norm in film and TV. Like you have not just one character, but you've got a couple of characters from the LGBT. Now, I'm not exactly sure why that's a bad thing. That is precisely what is going to be the topic of this episode, so stick around. Welcome, story lovers, to the Story Show with your host, Jared D. Winchester, bringing you this next episode of November 2022. So let's get right into it, shall we? Okay. When you have LGBTQ characters, such as a character who's gay or lesbian or a transgender character, that isn't necessarily into itself that thing. But the thing that filmmakers and showrunners need to remember is as long as it adds to the story, or as long as the story is being pushed by that character, it's perfectly fine being there. But over the last decade or so, or maybe in the last 5 years or so, I've seen articles, I've seen criticisms, I've seen a video or two on YouTube complaining about LGBTQ characters. Now, little do these critics know is that when you have characters, most of the characters throughout history in film or throughout the history of film have been focused on heterosexual characters. Now, do you guys agree with that? If you do, leave a like or comment about your experience. Now, I will give you an example of what I mean. I came across an article about the Netflix TV show 13 Reasons Why. The reviewer complained that there were, quote unquote, too many gay characters. You know what? This criticism is refutable when you say, hey, there are too many straight characters in any TV show or any film, which by far is true. When you have such a refutable critic or refutable critique, you tend to not only, shall we say, find it hilarious, but also not, brainless, to put it mildly. You have to wonder if that critic is being genuine, which is one of the reasons I focus on critiquing the critics. Now, I do this in my podcast, and I also do this here on this show, the Story Dude Show. But the point of the matter is, if you have LGBTQ characters in your movie or TV show, make sure they not only add to the story, but if they are the main characters, you need to make sure they drive it. They drive the story. Now, I will give you an example of such a character. Now, if you've not watched this movie called The Sensei, now this movie is a movie, it's more like a Karate Kid type movie, and I believe the producer and director and actress Diane Lee Inosanto maybe got the inspiration from the Karate Kid. This is what it looks like. But in that story, the main driver of the story is, I believe, is the gay kid. Even though his sensei, which also happens to be Diane's character, was it's about her, but he was driving it. So as long as your characters drive the story, that's great. That's all they have to do. And even in case of a supporting character, also, that's all they have to do. They have to drive the story some way. Now, as long as that happens, you should have no complaints. You should have no reason why you have an objection towards having an LGBTQ character in that film or TV show. So, go out there, make it work, and have your characters drive your story in some way. And if that character happens to be a member of the LGBTQ community, that's fine too. So, with that being said, this is Jared Dean Winchester, also known as The Story Dude. Like, comment, and subscribe because I post anywhere between 2 to 3 episodes per month of the show. Check all of my episodes out, and as always, until I see you again, don't forget to turn that page.